Pop in, say hi. If you have hung out with me for any length of time, you'll be giggling in this moment too, because I'm taking off on a trip and I don't suspect that too many people are going to catch me tonight. Only because for two reasons. Number one, I am going on this trip, and everybody knew. Owen just proved me wrong. Right? Showed up right away. I what I was laughing about is I never show up on time. It is always my intent to be here at 7:30 on the dot. But then there's like the pulling on the ponytail, not getting the right thumbnail, got to make a cup of coffee, not finish this chore. It's only the excuse, in all honesty. And if you guys hang out with me for any length of time, you know that's what it is too. It's in that procrastination. And I'm very grateful to have Owen tonight and Andrew. I'm laughing and I'm cheering and I'm happy because I'm going on this trip tomorrow and I didn't expect to come in tonight, right? Because I just got so much to do. Even if I got it all done in my mind, I'm going, oh, do I need this? Like, I'm really stopping myself from adding things to my bin, right? Oh my goodness. I am a nervous wreck because for the first 3 days, right? It's just driving. Of course, I'm going to stop, do the landscapes, pop into Thunder Bay for coffee, right? Maybe driving too. I like my coffee on the road. And usually when I do these trips on in September, Kathy here is the contributor to my coffees along the way. She's a fellow Canadian here, and we love our Tim Hortons here in Canada. And she knew the perfect gift for me. This year, I had a discussion with her. She did the same thing, but she let me. Well, she didn't let me. She was kind enough to. Right there's $50. Use it for whatever you want to buy the treats for the road. Oh my goodness, it was a good thing. It was a good thing I did. I'm like a cheesemonger when I go out on the roads, you guys. Hello everybody. Hello Owen and Kathy and Andrew. Thank you so much. I don't know how long I'm gonna stick around for, but I just, right, you guys know my nature, right? No matter what I've got to get done, I'll show up. And I'm so glad that you guys kind of showed up with me. Give me a little bit of a break in my day, right? It's the end of not only my work week, it's the end of my work year and I'm on holiday. I'm on holiday. I wish them well, right? I hope it goes absolutely amazing for them. That we got enough work and got as much ahead of the game as we did. And that's a lot of thank you to the manager herself, who out of frustration felt that she needed to get it done or it just wasn't going to get done. And she designated some of it out and everything, but she's a hard worker. That woman is a hard worker 100%. But I'm leaving and I have a certain way, right? That I like things, and I am grateful that I have people that kind of know the Cindy routine, but there's no Cindy routine for the next few weeks, and they'll be flying under the direction of somebody else that I, right, because I know their weaknesses and the strengths, and I know what they do well and don't do well, and where they need help. You know what I mean? And I'm just a little bit concerned that that might be a little bit neglected, right? Because not everybody, right? Most people, when they go to work, they're watching out for themselves in all honesty. I just take it on, right? It's the pride. It's the pride in my job, and it's the gratefulness to have a job, to have a company like the company I work for to take a chance on me and to give me a place where I can feel company or feel comfortable and also feel like I'm designing my work life around my life and not the other way around. And that's not something that you find in a lot of workplaces. I'm very grateful that I've been able to arrange my life the way that I had it. Right? It's got me to where I'm actually thinking I might be of some use, and that's pretty amazing. But I'm going tomorrow. I'll be. You guys know it's me, myself, and I. Right? There will be moments. There are always moments and interactions and interesting things that happen, interesting characters that I bump into. I suspect all of that, right, will happen in that. But this is spending time for myself, and it's not giving anything. I mean, nothing. Not even my brand. And you guys know how important it is for me to show up. But this is the one part of the year that I do allow myself that break, and I truly do take it. I revel in it, roll in it, and I suspect that you're not going to see too much of me for the next 2 weeks. Of course, when I get home, we'll go we'll go live again. So hopefully, don't keep a half eye. I won't be home till the end of the month anyway, you guys. So don't be watching the clock or anything like that, right? I put the thought out there of doing a premiere so that you guys can just kind of come in and hang out, chit chat. But you know what? Maybe it's a good time for us to all have a break. Maybe what would make me happy, right, is if you did at least that one Sunday that you usually spent with me, if you could truly just do something nice for yourself, do something kind for yourself, or spend the evening with yourself, or go for a walk, but do something that you enjoy, that's something you would like to, right? Right? That would make me happy. It kind of like a holiday for you too. And it kind of is. I won't be around, right? You won't have to listen to me banter off the way I do, right? But that really would be something nice, right? Take your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, boyfriend out for dinner to the kids or something. Do something special. Yeah, you deserve it. You guys have been with me for so long and dedicated to showing up and hanging out with me, and it's absolutely amazing. And right, it's another reason, right, that I'm here tonight. Right, it is because we are our own little crew. We shine on, we shine on each other. Who knew, right? It's not for any other reason except for that. And then possibly, right? There's always the experience, the adventure, being the evidence, right? What's Cindy gonna say today? How's she gonna put her foot in her mouth today, right? I don't worry too much about that because I think if anybody knows my nature, you probably know it's not with intent. It really was. A prime example of that I would say was my husband. Um, he was a very patriotic. He was in right. He was with the armed forces here in Winnipeg, and he was an absolute sweetheart. Everybody loved me too. We all loved my husband. He was so kind, so thoughtful. If you had a problem, he would be offering to help even before it came to your mind of a possibility that could be a solution to whatever problem you had, right? But my husband was a little bit of a loudmouth. I married an extrovert. I married the life of the party, no doubt. And he was 10 years younger than me. I had 10 years on him. But the thing I wanted to say about my husband was just in that nature of his. Now I just lost my train of thought by going down that side branch. Hurry up, remind me. Let's see if I catch it or you catch it. You catch it first. And I was going to talk about my husband. Oh, yes, I got it first. Never mind, I got it. My husband was a bit of a rebel, right? He was a little bit of a loudmouth. He was, right, always picking the fights. And if you know anything about the military, when those guys are out partying, and that's what they are, they don't mean no harm, but they kind of do because they're digging up the trouble, right? But they hunt in packs, those guys. And my husband was always the instigator because he always knew that everybody loved him, right? Everybody loved him, and the pack would come running if anything ever happened in him, right? Or happened to him. Well, it's not about that, but just to give you an idea of the type of the person my husband was. He was a very sweet man. Everybody loved him, very kind, very considerate, but he was very much an instigator and he drummed that up for fun. Another thing he had was probably a gazillion rebel flags and Yosemite Sam's, all tattooed over his body. My husband did not have a prejudiced bone in his body. He really didn't. The rebel flags kind of represented something different to him, right? It was that brotherhood. It was military symbols, Canadian just as well as the U.S., right? And he loved his rebel flags, but things went sour a little bit in Somalia, and the Canadian, some of the Canadian armed forces got in trouble and for not treating people respectfully, right? When my husband came home from his tour from Croatia, he wasn't even in Somalia, but he was in Croatia. When he came home from Somalia, they told him that they were going to let him go out of the army because of, right, his rebel flags and what they represented. And Canada became very, very serious about discrimination and right and human rights, and rightfully. But my husband went into the military with most of those tattoos already, and everybody knew his work ethics and the person that he was, and yet, right, he had the rug whipped out from underneath him, and it broke his heart. It truly broke his heart. Right? He wasn't a racist person. I know, I was his wife. Like, he wasn't a racist person in any way, but doing that to somebody might make them that way because it becomes the cause as to why he loved the job and the life that he loved so much. My husband never gave up. He, right? He he went in and got in the back door through another battalion in another city, and yeah, so we transferred out to Edmonton, and he joined the first battalion. Right? By that time, some of the wear and tear from his tours in Croatia, I think he did two or three of those. It wore on him emotionally and mentally, and he found himself without his beloved job again. But by that time, our marriage was over, right? Our marriage had ended. But the whole reason I said that was just, sometimes sometimes we represent something that we're not really like. I have no idea how many punk rockers and really scary looking people, how many bikers, like even the head bikers of the Hells Angels would come into the city and I would be their waitress for the weekend that they were in the city, right? Like, I got along so well with these people because they were so kind and they were so nice to me. Maybe they had a reputation, maybe they weren't always kind and represented amongst everybody. But to me, right, they were Well, to me, they were like Candyman. If you guys hung out with me, you know, when I was a little kid, we lived on the top of the hill. Well, teenager, top of the hill, and we'd run out to the boulevard because we'd hear the Harley Davidson start revving up, and they had to come up the hill because their clubhouse was down at the bottom of the hill from where we lived. And we'd all run to the boulevard and we'd all scream, Candyman, Candyman, as they were driving by in their big parade, right? And they always had candy for us. They chucked candy at us. Oh, we loved the Hells Angels, right? But we have to understand some of us, right? Sometimes people just toughen up and they're not tough. I've met so many weak, soft, insecure people in my life that were just so much mouth. If you heard what was coming out of their mouth, you would just think that they were like the toughest, hardest, take no gup kind of people that you ever met. But you went like that in their face and they'd be like, like this right away. So these are the personas lots of people, lots of us wear those, right? Even I wear those. I do. But you guys have to pick them out. And I'm sure you guys know and can sense because you've known me for a long time. We've had a lot of conversations and a lot of stories that you guys know me well enough to know if I'm coming in tired or coming in, upset or depressed or worried. Grateful that doesn't happen as often as it does, right? But that takes work. We're not out of it yet, but we're hacking away at it, aren't we? And we do that on Sunday. So how can I not show up here, right? I had my last load of laundry just went into the dryer. I did most of it yesterday, but I just left my quilt for today as the last piece so that when I come home, my house will be about as clean as it gets in my space, right? That I'll feel happy to be home. I'm sure I will be. 14 days on the road, you guys. That's a long stretch. It's a very long stretch. And I know I'm going to be happy to be home, but at the same time, I'm going to be excited about all those experiences that I'm going to have. I am a Google guide, so of course I'll be taking photos for Google Maps. I'll also be doing reviews in different places that I stay at. I want to do one experience at least in every park, whether it's a short walk or to check out the ranger station or if they have a bird tower or something that I could go and or bird's eye that I could go and have a beautiful experience, right? Sit by some lakes, do some kicking some rocks on the beach and see if I can find some cool rocks, do my crystal digging, right? Right? And if I don't find anything, you guys, if I don't find anything for rocks, good with that. It's holidays. It's the experience that I'm going to be having. I'm going to be driving a really killer car. Oh, if it doesn't matter um, what car it is in all actuality, because there's not many of these cars out the road here in Winnipeg. I've been watching for them. I saw one today. And a couple of days ago, I saw one of those great big SUVs. But they're not very common. And when I was reading up on it, they were saying that they only take up an extra $400 a year in gas. So I don't know. Maybe it's just misconceptions about why people don't drive these amazing, amazing vehicles. Oh my goodness, I'm going to feel so cool when I'm driving around or driving down the highway, right? Or driving through the bush. Wow. I gotta remember, it's a rental. It's a rental. I'll take good care of it. I've never had a problem in the returns of my cars yet. I suspect it's not going to happen this year. I, we got goals. As soon as I get home, I've got 2 days off before I go back to work. I'm not sure, but it's the 7-seater and it's equivalent. He hinted to me that it was the Wagoneer. That's what he said because I went in there and I wanted the hybrid because it's also a seven-seater vehicle. It's an SUV, but it's a hybrid, so it runs half electricity and half gas. And I thought, well, if I'm going to put 6,000 kilometers on the car, right? If I'm going to put $6,000 or 6,000 kilometers on the road, then I want the very best. So I tried to get that one, but the place that I went to didn't have that vehicle, the hybrid. They just don't have one yet. I'm sure if I pushed it and said I was going to take my sale to somebody else, they would have brought it in from a different store, but it didn't matter. They got me into a premium SUV 7-seater, and it's equivalent to the Wagoneer. Because I said, oh, it's not the hybrid, and he says, no, it's like the Wagoneer. And I went, the Wagoneer, because I automatically remembered last year when I turned in the Rubicon, like the Jeep, right? That I said, oh, maybe next year we'll take the Wagoneer. And when he said it's going to be comparable to the Wagoneer, I says, okay, I'm good with that. I like the Wagoneer, but it might not be the Wagoneer because there are about 6 or 7 SUVs that are in the class. Like it could be the Tahoe. It could be I don't know, you guys. There's about 6 of them, but they're all pretty fancy, all of them. And it's going to be a lot of space. It's going to be a lot more space than I had last year. The only thing I'm going to have to do, I've given myself 2 hours to get packed, wash my floors before I leave to go pick up the truck. I'm going to do one more look if I do it tonight. I'd like to do it tonight. One more look through my clothes bag and see if I can minimalize a little bit more in my clothes bag, because I know I took way too much of everything last year. And I did start packing almost 3 weeks before my trip this year, right? So I want to make sure that I feel good when I came home. Now, I don't come home with a lot of groceries. I don't come home with a lot of clothes that I didn't wear, right? Like a lot of those things too. If I'm going to be digging in the dirt and stuff, like I'm going to be dirty anyway, right? It's only for the cleanliness and my concern for the cleanliness of for the vehicle that makes me concerned about all the muck and mud and stuff, right? But almost every single night I am in a campground. We won't find any rocks, you guys, for at least 3 days. My first 3 parks are road trips. When I say that, like it says that it'll take me 6 hours. I try not to go past 6 hours in any of my lengths. I have one coming home, which is my first long stretch after my holiday, like where I truly feel like I'm on my way home. Then I let that one be 7 hours. So we're going to Lake Superior, and that will be a 7-hour drive. But all the other ones, the first 3 are 6 hours. The next 3 after that, there's only 3 hours space in between each park. And I'll be at mines and digging for crystals in those ones. Then the next 2 days, I will be going south, uh, Toronto way, crossing the border, going to Herkimer, digging for Herkimer diamonds, and then um, and then on the way home, I'll get to pass those crystal areas 2 more times, and then on the third time, that's the long stretch. That's a 7-hour drive. Then there's a 3-hour drive, then another 3-hour drive, and then another 3-hour drive. I wanted my last 3 to be short drives either, because we'll be out of the crystals. So those ones will be videos where I'm actually going to spend more time on the trails and exploring the different features of the provincial parks that I'm going into. But yeah, I'm trying to pack lots. Last year too, I says, oh, next year I want to spend a couple of more days in some of these parks. I don't want to just do one nighters. And I did it again, you guys, right? I don't know how well it will work for me. I just mess up once and I could be falling way behind in all my days there. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, whatever happens on this trip is what's gonna happen. Kathy, you follow my content on Instagram. I'll take a picture of me in the vehicle on Instagram before I head out onto the highway. Okay, how's that? That do that. Then that could be like your post. Everybody else will see it too, and that's good because I want to do a few posts, but I want to be able to write and put my landscape pictures. So maybe at night while I'm sitting at the campfire or something that I could just write a post to one of my landscapes that I took during the course of the day. Or right, maybe I'm having such a good time that I'll just throw up some of those landscapes anyway. I don't know. Like I said, it's all up in the air. I'm gonna have an amazing time. Gonna have an amazing time. I just wanted to come in, you guys, and say goodbye. I'm going to miss you, but I'm not going to miss you if you get what I mean. This is for me. Whatever happens, good, bad, I'm taking in it and I'm owning it, and I will be talking about these next 2 weeks for the rest of my life. Wow, isn't that amazing? When I'm 80 years old, rocking in my rocking chair, that I have an experience, right? I have an experience that I can think about, talk about, teach within, right? Hope all the lessons are fun and easy and exciting and full of abundance. Like I said, I'll own whatever comes across my path. Okay, let me come up into these comments a little bit just to say, oh, good, Owen. Yeah, so if you catch me on Instagram, that's probably where you're going to catch me for the next couple of weeks. So, unless maybe I'm inspired to go to McDonald's or Tim Hortons, like I said, and do a live show on the Wi-Fi or something. I don't know how it'll work out, but it doesn't hurt to try. New experiences. That's what it's all about. Okay, you guys, I'm going to try and get the packing done. I still have my floors to wash in the bathroom. I got a few dishes in the sink, and I think that is it, right? Besides putting my dryer on one more time just to make sure my quilt is nice and dry. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to get some great video for you guys. I'm going to do a good job, right? Might not be a good job to your standards, but I'm going to do a good job to my standards, to what I think I'm capable of. I'm going to do my very best. That you guys are going to get to have those experiences with me, right? It's been pretty amazing. We'll talk a little bit about it. I'm sure I'm going to do some of those podcasts on my road to wherever I'm going in the next 2 weeks. I just had a thought that came to my mind that maybe I could upload a post to YouTube. Right? Stop in a Wi-Fi or something and at least get one of those conversations that I'll have on the road, right? I'll be talking to myself anyway. Might as well talk to you guys, right? Then we all benefit. We all truly feel like we were there from the beginning to the end. You guys, have a great few weeks. Miss me, but have fun, you guys. Do something nice for yourself. Choose a day even and go do something wonderful for yourself. Give yourself a spa day, a little holiday day, a gift day, a day off, something. Okay, you guys.